Wait, have you ever been in this position? You've been watching a ton of videos on the planche form, even getting some tips while training 2 to 3 times per week, but every time you try and get into the advanced tuck form, or maybe even the tuck planche, your legs aren't where they need to be, maybe you're not leaning forward enough and just end up falling forward instead, and as a result you start getting frustrated and even demotivated. It's time to end this horrid cycle. Now we're going to use everything we have available to us to now achieve the full planche. And yes, that means we're going to use weight. I know, but after using the exercises I'm going to teach you in this video, along with the tips in the advanced tuck planche guide I've made earlier, then you're going to go from just being unable to move your knees in any of the planche progressions to being able to do whatever you want in the planche position and get that full planche. Quick announcement guys, you guys have been asking if I have any other socials, and I'm pleased to say I finally made an Instagram. It's @thejackvegan with an underscore at the end. I'm going to be uploading a load of calisthenics content, what I'm eating, vegan meals, photos, all of that. So extra content there for you guys and a deeper look into my life. So if you guys are interested in that, go follow me on Instagram for that extra content. And without further ado, let's get on with the video. So guys, the way I use weights to increase my planche progression and actually achieve the full planche was by focusing on 3 key areas. Those 3 areas were straight arm strength, bent arm strength, and core strength. First, let's go through the straight arm strength exercises. So there are 2 exercises I like to use to work on my straight arm strength to achieve the full planche, and those were straight arm flies and straight arm holds. Firstly, let's talk about straight arm flies. To carry out the straight arm flies, you want to lie down with your dumbbells in hand already and have your knees tucked inwards. By having your knees tucked inwards, this is going to anteriorly tilt your pelvis, which means your back is going to lay flat against the floor. There shouldn't be a gap under your lower back. This is going to give you more stability as your core is instantly going to be more engaged by having your hips and your pelvis anteriorly tilted. Alternatively to having your knees tucked in, you can have your legs extended, just hovering above the floor. This means you're going to be less stable, but your core is going to be working a lot harder. Once you're set in position on the floor, you're going to press up into the position, but you're going to do this with your palms facing in the direction of your face, while the back of your hand is going to be facing towards your knees. Once you've pressed the dumbbells up so your arms are in a straight position, you're then going to protract your scapula. So all you're going to do is you're going to push your shoulder blades down, and that's going to be towards the ceiling. So you're going to push your shoulder blades down towards the ceiling. Don't have your hands too wide in this position, and then we're just going to do flies. So we're going to bring our hands out down to the side of us, and then we're going to press these back up while keeping our arms straight. Also, while you do these straight arm exercises, I'm going to suggest you keep the weights light and the reps high. This is because your elbows are in a disadvantageous position. They're not really meant to be locked out like that while having a lot of stress on them when they're not used to it, when your ligaments aren't used to it. So be careful, keep the weights light and the reps high until you get used to it. So you really feel the ditch in your elbow start being painful once you do these workouts 1 or 2 times, but you'll feel them strengthen and you'll be able to hold yourself longer while in the planche position. So keep the weights light and then keep the reps high. Now the second exercise to work on your straight arm strength is the straight arm planche hold. To do this exercise, it's the exact same setup as the straight arm planche flies, but now instead of moving our arms dynamically, we're just going to hold them isometrically at about 45 degrees, sort of towards where your knees are. We're just going to hold it there with our scapula protracted and do this for the longest time we can. So guys, these 2 exercises are going to increase your straight arm strength for the planche if you start including these in your workout. Now let's handle the second area that we can use weights to target to increase our planche progression, and that is bent arm strength. Bent arm strength is important because we're not always going to be in that perfect straight arm form. Sometimes we're going to get a little bit tired, but we're going to want to push to the end and progressively overload, so our arms may start bending a tiny bit, maybe not completely bent like 90 degrees, but maybe just a tiny bit, and we want to be able to hold and maybe keep our core going, maybe work that while we're still in the planche progression, so we get the most out of that set. So we need to have some decent amount of bent arm strength, and this will also simultaneously give you more straight arm strength. If you work on your bent arm strength, you're also going to work on and have better straight arm strength. So there's 2 worlds to this, and you want to be working your bent arm strength and your straight arm strength. To work on our bent arm strength, we're going to work on the bent arm planche press. Now to do the bent arm planche press, we're going to set up the same as before, but now instead of holding there or doing flies, we're going to bring our arms and bend them downwards. So we're gonna let our elbows maybe just touch the floor a little bit or hover directly above the floor, but then we're gonna press up back into that 45-degree angle that we started in. And then we're just gonna keep it there. We're gonna do reps. So we're gonna lower down, let our elbows just slightly touch the floor, and then press up into that straight arm position. Do this for reps. So lastly, the third and final area that I use weights to target to increase my planche progression and reach the full planche faster was core strength. Of course, core strength is super important for learning the planche, because without the core strength, you're not going to be able to tuck your knees in or move them into the correct position that you need them to move in. However, when we think of the core, we can think of it in two parts. We have the posterior chain part of the core, which is our lower back, and then we have the anterior part of the core, which is our abdominals. So firstly, let's tackle the lower back, the posterior part of the core, and we're gonna do this using advanced tuck leg hyperextension. So to do this exercise, we're first gonna start out with no weight, and then we're gonna add weight. So you need a stool, chair, or sturdy coffee table, and you're gonna lay down onto it. You're then gonna tuck your knees in as far as they can go, and then we're gonna start extending our legs outwards. This is similar to the straddle planche leg raises that I taught you in the ultimate guide on how to straddle planche. So as we open out our legs, our knees come outwards until they hit 90 degrees to the floor. And while we do this, we want to keep our lower back exactly where it is. We don't want to start bending at the lower back. We only want our knees to move and our core to be doing the work. So we're going to keep doing this for reps, moving our knees in and out without moving your lower back. So we're not so much working our lower back in this position, but working on the mind-muscle connection to know where our knees need to be and our lower back needs to be without moving our lower back or working those muscles. So this isn't so much resistance training, this is more mind-muscle connection to learning a position for the advanced tuck planche, because I've had a lot of comments saying that you guys have issues with this. So guys, to work our anterior chain, we're going to do the classic. We're going to do the tuck, L-sit, hold, but we're going to add weight to it. So we're going to use something, elevate ourselves onto it, get into the tuck, L-sit position, and then we're going to put some weight on our knees. We're then going to hold this for as long as we can, and then when we're tired, we're going to progressively overload again to increase our strength even further. We're going to go straight into knee raises. So guys, if you haven't seen it, I made ultimate guides on all the progressions you need for the full planche. Or if you're stuck on a progression, I go through the problems and how to solve them using bodyweight techniques. So guys, watch those. Follow me on Instagram @thejackvegan_. And without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one.